Spaceflight sims have been on a long vacation, but now they're back. So get out your film Chewbacca fingers and brush off those parsec calculating skills, viewers, because it's time for us to deconstruct Elite Dangerous. Welcome everyone, my name is Dimebot, and this is Digitally Deconstructed, the show where we play a game for at least 20 minutes before offering an opinion on it. That means we do at least 10 times as much research as Angry Joe did on copyright claims before putting up his last Nintendo video. All jokes aside, the spaceflight simulator genre used to be huge. Free Space, X-Wing, TIE Fighter, X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter. Do you think LucasArts was milking a cash cow there? And of course, you can't forget the grandfathers of them all, Wing Commander and Elite. Launched way back in 1984, Elite was a revolution in gaming. I mean, yes, it was all wireframes and white dots, but for the time, that was utterly amazing. Back in 84, we were still playing Paperboy in the arcades on cutting-edge equipment. And by we, I mean me, since none of you were around. God, I'm old. My point is, Elite was amazing because you could play it at home, on your PC. Instead of going to the arcade and paying to play the game on a cutting-edge machine, it also happened to have snot and pizza sauce smeared all over it. Fast forward to 2014, and David Braben, creator of the original, and Frontier Developments are back with the brand new Elite Dangerous, a game that recreates our own Milky Way galaxy on a 1-to-1 scale with over 400 billion star systems. With tons to see and do, it can be a daunting title. But fear not, I'm here to break it down. Single player, multiplayer, ship customization, no, not cup holders, and most importantly, is the game worth your time? First off, let's take a look at the galaxy that Elite has to offer. This is our galaxy, created with a mix of handcrafted star systems and procedurally generated ones that use real scientific data. This is the closest you and I are going to get to stepping into a spaceship and becoming Han Solo. Take a look at this galaxy map. It's huge. So huge, in fact, that it's easy to get lost. Fortunately, the game has a great route planning tool to get you where you want to go. Just watch out for black holes. All the things you would expect to see in the galaxy are there. Dwarf stars, gas giants, systems with 2 or even 3 stars. You can go to the rings surrounding the gas giants, fly through asteroid belts, and get up close and personal with stars as you scoop fuel from them. It's impressive, gorgeous, and insanely fun to explore. It's also large. Traveling on Elite, while usually fairly quick, can sometimes take a while. You're covering truly immense distances, even with a faster and light means of flight. You can engage in dogfights, or dock at stations in normal flight, jump up to supercruise to cross a star system quickly, or enter the game's version of hyperspace and leap between stars. Fair warning though, Elite isn't a game you could sit down and play for 20 minutes and make a huge amount of progress. It's a huge, open, unforgiving galaxy. It's into this world that Elite thrusts you with a small ship and a pocket full of credits. Make no mistake, folks, Elite doesn't hold your hand. Your starter ship is easily killed, especially if you happen to bump into another player that decides they want whatever juicy cargo you might have scrounged up. Fortunately, the game has a single-player mode to help alleviate some of this pain. Single player is still connected to the game's servers, meaning that commodity prices and overarching story events happen just as they do in the open galaxy, just without the throngs of players. There are no limitations to solo play. You can go anywhere and do anything. Trading? Check. Combat? Check. The world of Elite is here offline just like it is online. And while I don't spend a ton of time in solo play, it is nice to have the option when I want it. While it may seem like I haven't talked much about single player, keep in mind that it's very hard to discuss Elite in discrete sections, and much of the fun of the game lies in multiplayer. That being said, before we dive into the multiplayer, let's talk a bit about what makes Elite a living, breathing galaxy. As you travel the spaceways of Elite Dangerous, you'll come across 3 major factions. The Empire, no, not that one, an aristocratic society in the grips of a struggle over the imperial succession that condones slavery as a way to pay off your debts. The Federation, stop that, a seeming democracy that may be a lot more morally ambiguous than they seem at first, and the Alliance. Oh, come on, they aren't even in space! A loose-knit body that seems to have formed mainly as a way to defend against the encroachment of the other 2 factions. Sprinkled throughout are pockets of independent star systems, illegal outposts, and outright anarchy. All these factions have their own agendas, motivations, and reactions. Plying these systems are merchants, bounty hunters, pirates, and security forces, NPC and player-controlled alike. Players might be patrolling a system looking for hapless merchants whose cargo they can liberate, mining metals from an asteroid belt, hunting a bounty, delivering a cargo, or simply traveling through as they head out on an exploration run. Coupled with the players are NPCs that go about their own routines, doing many of the same things. Stations have their own economies, governments, supplies, and foibles. You may land in a high-tech system that is also a dictatorship, a great place to pick up personal weapons and make an illicit delivery to another station for a huge profit. A communist government may be irritated with a rabble-rouser and ask you to eliminate their little problem for them. Traders play the market, taking materials to and fro. And it's in trading that the real intricacies of the galaxy become apparent. Supply and demand are in full effect here. Picking up raw materials in an extraction-oriented system and delivering them to a system that can turn them into high-tech commodities, then taking those commodities to a farming system that desperately needs equipment as well as some of life's little luxuries is simply par for the course. As players find a good trade route and work at profiting from it, supplies drop and the profits become less. This encourages players to explore and move about, as well as adding a very real and satisfying sense of a responsive galaxy that is actually reacting to what the player base does. Of course, a spaceflight game is only as fun as your ship allows it to be, and it's here that you truly begin to see some of the possibilities that Elite offer players. Technically, Elite's an MMO, but without many of the caveats of typical games in the genre. There are no skill trees, no leveling, and no one right way to do things. While having a well-equipped ship is helpful, a large part of Elite comes down to pilot skill, not stats that work behind the scenes. Fortunately, Frontier has given pilots multiple ways to control their futuristic rides. Elite can be played with a mouse and keyboard, joystick, or even an Xbox 360 controller. All the controls are fully rebindable, although the menu can be a bit daunting the first time you open it and see just how many things there are to fiddle with. It's a good thing you can customize the controls to suit your needs, since Elite lives up to the simulator part of the genre as well. Your ship has full freedom of movement, allowing you to roll, pitch, yaw, and thrust up and down. That's what she said?
Don't be a child, Commander.
Thank you, Amy. And since she's decided to interrupt, I might as well bring up voice attack. Popular among Elite players, this simple program allows you to use your voice to execute commands within the game. It only helps with some of the more mundane tasks of routine ship operation, but can add a whole new layer of immersion as you interact with your futuristic craft through voice. You'll start in a basic ship, the Sidewinder. As you earn more money, you can begin buying new ships. One feature I particularly like is the ability to store a ship at a station instead of selling it when you decide to get a different craft. This means that once you're able to save up some cash, you can keep a cargo ship in port while you take a combat ship out hunting for bounties, and vice versa. Most ships have a role that they are best suited for. The Viper is a fast and nimble fighter with little in the way of cargo space. The Type 9 is a slow, lumbering, massive freighter, and the Asp is a long-range explorer capable of extended trips into the vast unknown. There are a handful of ships that can be used in multiple roles. The Cobra is one of the most versatile craft in the game, offering great range, top-notch combat power, and decent cargo capacity. Likewise, the Asp can play all three roles well, and the Anaconda is a massive, heavily armed freighter, equally at home carrying a load of mining equipment or mixing it up in an intense dogfight. Whatever you're looking for in a ship, Elite has you covered, with more to come. And once you've settled on your preferred ship, it's time to customize. You can swap out virtually every part on the ship, adding better power plants, bigger guns, increasing your jump range, adding in advanced scanners to increase your profits from exploring, and that's just scratching the surface. Paint, decals, they're all fully customizable as well. If you've ever wanted to score a sweet spaceship and then trick it out to your black little heart's content, Elite's got you covered. And now that you have a blinged out ride, it's time to jump into multiplayer. Multiplayer in Elite comes in two forms. Open play takes place in a wide open galaxy with all other players. Private groups consist of friends that share the same instance of the galaxy. This allows you to choose. Would you rather risk your ship and the hefty insurance rebuy that can come with its destruction in open play, or stick to a multiplayer group that you trust? All the modes are still linked to the online servers, meaning that the galaxy simulation is the same no matter what mode you prefer. Open play can be chaotic and unpredictable, as players make their living the same way you do, trading, bounty hunting, and pirating. This can be a particular concern during community goals. These are massive events taking place over the course of several days to a week. They range from securing enough metals to help build a new starport, to taking sides in a massive space-going civil war. As with everything in Elite, the outcome and consequences of the events are entirely up to the player base. In open play, some players may choose to blockade the starport you're delivering metals to, destroying the traders and taking the cargo for their own profit. In group play, unless one of your friends is feeling trolly, this is less of a concern. While I do spend most of my time in my private group, open play can still be enjoyable, and the spectacle of seeing wings of players taking part in a dogfight as they support or oppose a mammoth Federation capital ship is one that few games can match. But what are wings, I hear you asking, dear viewer? Well, fear not. I have the answer. Wings are awesome. Up to 4 players can form a wing. Once in the wing, you'll be able to see the shields and hull status for all members of the wing. You can lock onto a wingman's target, or even slave your frameshift drive to theirs so that when they enter supercruise to travel across a system, or even go into hyper to jump to another star, your drive will automatically activate, keeping the wing together. In addition, bounties and profits from trading are shared automatically across the wing. This makes escorting a friend in a cargo ship a profitable trip for all involved, as well as making it possible for wings to make money taking on strong signal sources scattered around the galaxy. These randomly generated signals generally consist of wings of powerful NPCs that are almost impossible to take on alone, but they can be staggeringly profitable with the right wing. As you can see, there's plainly a lot to do and see in Elite Dangerous. It doesn't hurt that the game is gorgeous to look at and sports some amazing sound design as well. So, the final question we need to address is simple. Is the game worth it? The answer, unfortunately, is not so simple. If you love complex living worlds that are massive in scope and allow you to go anywhere and do pretty much anything, then yes, Elite is for you. If the thought of getting together with a group of friends and blasting space pirates into itty-bitty pieces appeals to you, then Elite is for you. But remember what I said at the beginning of the video. Elite does not hold your hand. Or, if it does, it holds it after it's chopped it from your still warm corpse. This is a game with a steep learning curve. Its flight mechanics are complex and take time to master. Navigation takes time to wrap your head around, as does parsing the various factions, events, and political groups you'll encounter as you explore the galaxy. After over 6 months of play, Elite still holds a regular place in my rotation of games, right up there with Smite. I sunk a couple hundred hours into the game, and I look forward to each new content update. So, if anything I've said in this episode sounds appealing to you, give Elite a look. And if you do, I'll be waiting for you somewhere out there in the 400 billion star systems. Catch me if you can, Commander. Thanks for watching. Like what you saw? Click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Or click on one of these other videos.